Hello, hello, hello. This is my first foray into books I've read and what I thought about the books. So we're gonna start off with the Wolf King series, and so far I'm just gonna talk about the two books that I read out of the series. One called The Wolf King, and the other The Night Prince. So the Wolf King, the first out of the possibly third, probably trilogy, is not as strong as the second one. So to paint you a better picture of what the book is basically going to be about, is a romantasy set in a world of Scottish-ish, British. They're in the UK somewhere, or Europe, and they're all werewolves, and they pray to the night god, moon goddess, that imbues them with the power to turn into werewolves. There's this war that's been going on between the humans and different clans of wolves, but it's basically werewolves bad. Either from either side, humans bad, werewolves bad. But in this instance, this pretty much the humans are doing the fucked up things to the werewolves, and so in the hierarchy structure, the werewolves have, I guess, because it's been debunked, but it still persists in culture. But it's like an alpha male, where it's like, oh, you just assert dominance and you gotta follow the head honcho type scenario. But women can be alphas, and women can be equals and have land and do whatever they want. And the human side of that, the women's in the human side, are regressive. They don't have much rights. They're just property. They're just made to look nice. They just learn how to do homebody shit and get married and pump out those babies. So on this side of the world, we meet Princess Aurora. She's young. She's like 19 or some shit. And she is betrothed to this dude's Sebastian, who is like seriously unhinged. And he's all like, I'm seriously demented as fuck. Like on their like wedding pre I don't know what people do their pre-wedding feast. He's like, I can't wait to fuck you up, like mentally, physically, everything. And she's like, oh shit. So during this time, feasting on the banquet, she sees this. In their world, they have, on the human side of things, they frequently have wolves fight against each other. So the wolves are fighting against each other, and they don't care about who wins. They skin the wolves, the werewolves, alive for their pellets, and yeah. I don't know if they scare them alive, but they just skin them and they keep their wolf pellets and stuff, shit like that. So she steps in and she sees like a young, like somebody her age or younger, possibly a little bit younger. She's like, oh, he about to get fucked up by this other dude, Calum, who we find out is Kayla, one of her love interests. And she's like, oh no, he's not capable. He can't fight. She steps in and her husband is like, okay. So he lets the boy go and think it's Ryan or whatever. And they all go down to the dungeon because they pull them out from the dungeon because they just keep the werewolves down there. And when they're ready to kill them or torture them or do whatever, or play werewolf fight or whatever. They plucked them out from the dungeon. So these two was plucked from the dungeon, and then they went back, and the husband was like, "Oh, since you I don't know. She somehow find her way down. I don't remember the details about how she find her way down there to the dungeon. But she peeps my boy Calum. And Calum have that swagger, that big dick energy. They admiring each other. And essentially it's like, they're running. At first he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kidnap you," but then he was like, "I don't feel right," or whatever. And then he was like, "I'll give you a choice. You could leave or whatever," because he sees, like, because the husband was like to his, while she's down in the dungeon, he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and then he's all like, "Oh, you can leave with us or whatever, because you don't have to stay. But I'm not gonna hope you're not gonna be my hostages and shit like that." So off they go to his kingdom. So he's living in like some fucking castle. I don't remember the living arrangement or whatever, but all the love interests are living in the same place. That's all you need to know. So they're living there, and constantly it's, "But I'm not a prisoner. But people here don't like you and they're gonna kill you, and that's why you gotta stay in this bedroom." And then they constantly was like, I don't want to taste, but I kind of do. But like constantly. So if you don't like the constant, like, I don't know, he upsets me, and he don't think that I'm. It's the opposite of what they say. So just know that if she says she's independent, or that she ain't taking no shit, or that she's tired, she's not tired, and she is gonna continue to take shit, and she is gonna continue to be bossed around. If he says, or they both say, "Oh, I don't like each other, I don't care for her, I just want to keep you around. Oh, this ain't gonna lead nowhere, you my hostage," and they do care for each other. You know what I'm saying? So he did do that for a couple chapters until they realize, "Oh yeah, we do like each other," or whatever. You know how it is in these type of setups. So enter bad boy Blake, the MVP for me. He enters the story while Calum is away. Okay, so let me just get a minute, get this one out. But Calum, the author is trying so hard to be like, oh, he can be like fucking like traditional, like, oh well, you gotta do what the man, and sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time it's like, "I told you not to do this, and come here, and don't do that, and don't talk to her." It's very it's giving 1950s, but with a dash of like kind of respect, but not really. But so he's on that train all the time, and he's so, like, his level of incompetency and his level of care with somebody who he keeps saying over and over is so fragile is just staggering. It's just like, you will roll, another thing is that you will roll your eyes for the umpteenth time he leaves my girl Aurora alone by herself, unprotected, and he's just like, he doesn't even think to himself like, "Oh, I hope everything goes well." He's just like, "I gotta go. However, whatever happens, it's like that's the type of vibe he gives out to me or whatever. And lo and behold, time after time, somebody always trying to like kill her, harass her, just make her life a living hell. And it's always when he decides to leave. And the first time, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like there's one instance towards the end of the book where everything would have been fine, but they whatever, you gotta read. If you read it, you'll understand. So anyways, he on that, and like the author hardcore is like, oh, he love her, he care about her, he think about her safety because but he like low key he does not trust her. Like he does not trust her judgment. He doesn't trust her. Like he, even though he says that he trusts her, he's like, she is like delicate. He doesn't like share everything with her, but they both can agree that they hate Blake. Well, anyways, but he's like, I want to tell you the level of incompetency and like just like he just stumbled into fortune. It's like, yeah, you'll see. So enters Blake. Blake is all like, bad boy, scheming, bad boy, leather. Like he's not wearing white, but he's wearing all black. He's scheming the world. He just built different, and he know how to. He's a survivor, but he's a schemer, and he's like an opportunist. So for some reason, every time, well, yes, he always used things in the book to his advantage, but it's clear, like, that he doesn't have to use it to, like, help Calum or Aurora. But, like, the way how the story is spin is that he's like, yes, some of the things that he does leads to him being having an upper hand and him being in a better seat, but it's like he could have went about it a different way and still, gotten to the same end or whatever. So he's like a physician, half wolf, half werewolf, who everybody thinks like, oh, he's cunning, he's cold, he's distant, and that he pretty much like betrays people out of like out of his inner circle or whatever. But he's really like a softy at heart, and he cares about people. So he's like essentially just vying for the throne, the wolf. They both want to be the wolf king, and he's using our aura to that end. And they're also like, their whole thing with Aura and Blake is like, is he just using her? Or does he really care about her? Is she satisfied with just Caleb? Can they do both? Or she has to choose? But like, honestly, like he gives her more opportunity to be like, trust yourself, believe yourself, like you don't want me. Like he could easily push or force things on her, and even you find out in the second book, but he doesn't, and he's always like, you don't want to do that, or don't do this and do that. And Caleb is like, oh, you're mine, and I can't stand you. Every time she's ending up with Blake, she always gotta like over explain. But honestly, sis be doing too much with her visits with Blake. Like they're not having sex and they're not touching, but it's like, okay, but she be doing too much. So, at the end of the book, no spoilers, a let's say it's an interesting dynamic cause to happen at the end of the book, that it is like a conflict between, like, because of Blake's machinations and his grand scheme, which is, we're gonna come back to that in the second book. We're not going to, because I feel like if you want to read it, I feel it'll be better when you just discover it, because I feel like it's a good read that way. But yeah, for reasons, it's that you'll discover in the second book why he doing all this machination, betraying people, and she can't trust her or whatever. But for some reason, Callum, despite everything Blake has done, they'd be like, he's the worst. He's the worst of the worst. Which I'm just like, how you figure when you have your father, you have Sebastian, you have all these people actively doing, okay. But anyways, so that's book 1. So book 2 that I just finished today picks off where the events of book 1 left off, and for reasons. Calum is like, oh, I want to fucking kill Blake for putting us in this position. And Aurora's on that shit too, but she's like, the girl's thirsty, but she's like, no, I'm just a little bit parched, or like, again, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna set the stage. I'm gonna warn you, and if you still decide to read the book, that's on you. So throughout this entire saga of book 2, and it is a saga, not super long, but it feels like a saga sometimes. She's gonna constantly be like, I don't know, like, girl, from at least like 3 chapters in or such, it's gonna wear on you. It's gonna wear on you, where they'd be like, oh, make a decision, or yeah, I know you feel oh, I don't know, I don't believe, I don't want this, over and over and over and over and over again. And she's gonna say, I'm tired of being used, but keep putting her to an extent. She is slowly crawling away from allowing people to manipulate her and to use their love in order to steer her in one way or another. She does move, but it's very, very excruciating, like small baby steps. And just like at one point, I'm just like, sometimes it's like 1 step forward and 3 steps back, because she's just like, oh, I want Calum to trust me as his equal. I want him to be, rough. When I tell him I want things, especially, making love, I want it rough. I want all of you. It's like, I want him to know that I could take it. Like, since the revelation, there's another revelation in book 2. And Calum is like, I know you're a delicate flower, and I gotta take care of you because you're a delicate flower, and that's not gonna change. And she's like, I'll have you any way you can give me. It's like, I'll take it. She's like, I just need you. And Calum, again, I am Team Blake, so let that be known. Calum will not fight for your girl. Calum is just like punishing her for standing up for herself. If you read like Akatar, it's like YAAAASSS, that book or whatever, like Tamil, like he's like given that energy in book 2, where it's just like ick. But she's all like, I love you, Kate. Like even though my boy was like, what's done is done. Like you Like we can't be together, and I'm not gonna fight for you, and I'm not gonna expect you to come back to me. I already, essentially move on. She's still like, I'm gonna come back to you, and I'm gonna fight for you, even though, your boy was like, no, I'm done. I'm gonna be sad, and I'm gonna think about you, but I'm done. I am. I want to, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And your boy Blake is all like, he's scheming, he conniving, but he's like, he still pushes her to, like, both of these are still, one is less toxic, one is way less toxic. This is both like a toxic sandwich, but one is just more entertaining, honestly, and have more story and has more depth. Blake, that's what I'm talking about, than the himbo column, because I don't know. I mean, I do know, but it's just like that whole level of like incompetence of like, that's how you want it? I don't know. How can you expect me? He blows up, he gets so angry, he shouts at her, he ignores her, and it's just like, But anyways, so they kind of shortchange Blake. They do reveal, and they have a lot more backstory of Blake in this, way more than the excuse me, than the first one. But compared to what I wanted versus what I got, I still feel shortchanged, because we have to read about fucking Caleb constantly pushing away, or they're constantly having some riff or some asinine reason why it's just not, their relationship is doomed. And I'm like, can we just have Blake? Like, can we just replace? But so you find out, and I can't even tell you because I don't want to spoil anything, because I feel like it's so good. But things happen that change the nature of their relationship, and her placement in the world. And it's so good. The ending is so good, but it's like, no, we might have to wait a year. And the dynamics and the tragic, pretty fucked up. Okay, trigger warning, like some fucked up things happen to Blake and other wolves, and some of the things and some of the books that she reads, they just be like casually, and you be like, they did what now? Yeah, so be warned that sometimes if she says she pick up a book and she describing something, just be warned that she's gonna be, it's not especially heinous, but if you're not comfortable with torturing or talking about people suffering or violence or anything like that, this might not be the book for you. It's not like heavy, but it is a light touch, and doesn't go into it. But if you're not, if that's not in any capacity for you, then I don't think you should probably read this book, or the first one for that matter. But the vibe in this one is way more, the first half of the book is kind of like, how is the romance, it's the tension between Caleb and Aura, and they're like, oh, will they last? Will they prevail? And then the next half is pretty much Blake and Aura figuring out like this new dynamic and the consequences of his actions, mainly his actions, and how she react to it, and what they're gonna do going forward into the next book installment. So I thought I had a fun time, especially fun with the second book, more so with the second book rather than the first book, Aurora. I like towards the end of the book. I really like how she turned out and her character growth. I like the world, the world building. I like the mechanic. It didn't really explain like you don't really need the mechanics of the werewolf. They're just werewolves and they change, and they don't describe in too much detail about how the different werewolves work. The story still works despite that. I enjoy like the different arcs. Some more than others. I like the inner conflict. Especially with Blake and sometimes Aurora. Like Caleb is like but and I really do like the side characters, and I would like to know more about like their journey, honestly. But overall, yeah, I think it's some good old fun to be had, and oh yeah, explicit, not ultra explicit, but explicit sex scenes. I wouldn't say moderate, but they are let's say it's enough. It don't overtake much of the book. This book is probably more explicit than the first one. But they don't really spend too much time on the explicitness of the sexual encounters. What else? And you don't have to, but I would implore you to borrow it from your library and get the audiobook version, because so fucking good. Like, it's so worth it. Like, girl, like, they should get all the voice actor awards or something, because they're so good. Like, I was just like, damn. Because sometimes voice actors not so good, but girl, baby, so good. And the seductive voice of Blake, and the angry meathead like gusto of Scottish voice of Caleb, but Aurora, her ability to like switch up and be like a creature, yeah, like versatility. That's what we call versatility. So just saying, it's gonna be a real treat if you listen to it on the audiobook. But yeah, that's it. Bye.